This is LMU I'm Scott Erland here with head men's and women's cross country coach Jeremy Donahue, and we're going to preview the upcoming Southland Conference Championship race. Coach, been a while since we talked to you, been 3 weeks since the race. We're going to start with the women. Last race, October 17th at the Jenna Strong Fall Classic. Pretty good showing by the ladies, finished 13th overall in a huge field with a lot of teams. How did you assess that race?
13th in a field of around 40 was, a strong showing. Finished towards the top half of the race. In that competition, there's a lot of strong D3 teams up there, good tradition of cross country up there. So to place 13th was nice. We would have liked to get in that top 10 position and felt like that was a position that was doable on that day. But just a few spots outside of that. Overall, pleased with performances. I think we were a little bit more tired heading into that race than I was expected on women's side, and Whitney Elliott had her maybe worst performance of the season, which is okay. We'll get it out of the way there. So we didn't have her low stick, which kind of hurt our points there. And then we had pretty good showings from Kelly, Allie having strong races, Angela having a strong race, and then Katie having another one. Strong race for her best race of the season for us, which was a positive sign. So you look at the top five, we had one sophomore, 4 freshmen in that top 5, so that's bodes well not just this year but years to come. And then we'll look for Tia Belter maybe to get back on what she's expecting over the next couple of weeks.
And you had mentioned the fatigue in that race. So what did it, and you've had 3 weeks since that race, so I'm sure you really was racking your brain to go back and think about the results from that all the way back from Wilmington. So what has that 3 weeks done for you? Kind of what has the team done in preparation for the SAC Championship?
Yeah, the 3 weeks is the longest break we've had between races this season, going back to the first race of the year, and that race was a pretty good one for us, and so we're hoping that bodes well the same for us this weekend. Like we said, tired heading into Wilmington. Really looked at it, and we had a lot of good training sessions during that period that fatigued us a little bit more than we were expecting. There was a lot of rain weather going on that rearranged some of our practices during that time, and that may have played a part of just the spacing of workouts during that time, making us go into that race a little bit more tired. But these 3 weeks have been nice. We've been able to get in quality sessions over these last couple weeks. A few key workouts still left we wanted to get in, but we could space them out well given the time that we had and make sure we were recovering properly in between. And so, looking at this week and how we're all feeling, and our last good workout on Tuesday, we're looking good. And so I think these 3 weeks really worked out well for us.
And then you had mentioned a little bit ago, Whitney Elliott. Her bad performance is still really good, and she's had a great year. Obviously made a huge leap. We've talked about her a lot. What is she going to need to do to be able to maybe compete and chase those top runners, and maybe even put herself in the top 3 or on the winner's podium in the SAC Championship?
Yeah, we do expect her to be pretty high this weekend. The top half or top quality runners in this race have really gotten a lot stronger over the last couple of years, and we say it about a lot of things on the women's side that this team as a whole would have been expected to finish high and maybe even favorites heading into the weekend, but then now the same is with individuals. And so Whitney would be somebody that maybe a few years back we think would be possibly winning this meet. Now we know she has to battle to be a first team all conference runner, and we're going to look for her to be patient. A couple of things that she hasn't done well is finish races this year. She's put herself in good position early, but hasn't finished the race the way she's needed to. And so that's going to be what we really talk to her about and harp on her on is being patient early, being confident early, so she can make a move in the last mile and put herself in position to be a top 5 runner.
And then with it being a postseason, and you've got a lot of freshmen, which we talked about how that bodes for the future, but also the gravity of the SAC Championship is a little bit different. The pressure is a little bit different than a regular season race. How do you think the freshmen, you have so many of them, do you think they're going to be unperturbed by that situation, or are you hoping that it's the pressure might help them perform?
This women's side, I think the the youth is probably going to play into our favor. I don't know that they quite understand the conference championship at the college level, and they understand it's a big meet and it's what we're gearing towards, but it's their first experience, and so kind of going in with no expectations, I think, and I think they're just have it in their mind they're ready to run their best race of the year and going to do what they need to do to have that best race, and so I don't think there's going to be a lot of nerves that come with it. We've tried to keep that light atmosphere while still impressing upon them that this is what we're working towards and this is what we want, the races that we want to perform well in. So we've been careful to keep that light atmosphere and let them go in a little bit underwhelmed maybe and not put that pressure on them, but still telling them we need to represent this weekend and be ready.
Now let's turn our attention to the men. The Rail Splitters, they also, their last race was about 3 weeks ago at the Jenna Strong Fall Classic, and they finished 15th in that meet. Huge field again. So look back in your memory banks and just tell us how you felt about that performance.
Men, much the same, because we practice a lot the same and not the exact same training as the women. You make the adjustment a little bit, but overall the training structure is the same, and so the men kind of went in with the same tired legs to that race that the women did, and overall the performance time-wise wasn't what we expected, but when you look at all the other teams, a lot of teams didn't run as fast that weekend. The course was a little bit slower, ran slower due to some rain they had, and so that combined with the fatigue in the legs, performance wasn't our best of the year, but they fought hard, I thought, throughout the race, despite not being where they necessarily wanted to be. And so, we'll make the same adjustments, or did make the same adjustments of making sure we got the rest we needed heading into this weekend. And like I said, we were okay with that race, but more tired than we were expecting. Had to leave it at that, I guess.
And then we've talked a lot about Ryan Beckett too. He's had an outstanding season, and we also know about his expectations for himself and your expectations for him. Just talk about maybe what he's going to need to do to be able to push Felix Duchamp from Queens, who is the reigning champion. What is he going to be able to do to push him for that SAC championship?
It looks like there's probably 3 or 4 guys that can be really high up there this year. Mars Hill, of course, has some top runners that I think will try to be pushing for that number 1 spot, and then Felix, of course, the reigning conference champ. Those are 3 or 4 tough guys that Ryan is gearing for, wants to run with. We believe he has that ability to run with them. This type of race is a race that Ryan runs real well in. He runs well when the focus is on the competition and we're not worried about times as much. It doesn't matter if he goes out and has the worst time he's had all season, as long as he beats these guys. And so when the focus shifts to that, he can go and race these guys head to head. This is his strong suit. So we look for him to really be ready this weekend and lay back off these guys maybe early and be ready to close and run hard the second half of the race.
And a lot like the women, a lot of freshmen, but also another wily veteran in there, Brandon Ward. This will be his 4th time running in the SAC Championship race. So what will that experience provide for the guys as a whole?
He has confidence. He gets better throughout the year, and he has traditionally always had his best races. The last 2 races, conference and regionals each year, and so he has that confidence that he's always been ready for conference, and he now knows he's heading in with the best 5+ guys he's had throughout his career. So I think that gives him a little bit extra motivation to perform well this weekend. He knows what to expect. He knows the guys he's competing against, and we look for him to duplicate his all-conference performance from last year.
In a little bit of a new venue this year. It's for both the men and women. It's going to be in Salisbury, North Carolina. Of course, we had our first race of the season was supposed to be in Salisbury. Had some issues that kind of altered that schedule. What do you know about the track, and how do you think it suits our style?
Well, fortunately, didn't find out anything about it. We were trying to get over there and figure out what the course was going to run like, what it was going to look like. We Had last been there in '07, and it's going to be run over similar course, but changed up just slightly. So, from what we know of it, it'll be rolling hills, not necessarily the fastest course. So it's going to come down to, not worrying about pace and what your pace is as much as understanding how you feel throughout the race, effort level, using the hills to your advantage. We have plenty of them around here to train on. So focusing on the competition and taking advantage of the course and spots that we can take advantage, we need to make sure we capitalize on it.
All right, Jeremy, good luck at the SAC Championship, November 8th, morning race in Salisbury, North Carolina. We look forward to talking to you at the completion of the race. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.